consider this video my public service announcement. This is the #1 thing you must have in place. You need this if you want to be a successful coach this year when you grow or launch your business. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time 7-figure certified life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things, and I'm super passionate about helping coaches truly get their business off the ground this year. If I had $1 for every time somebody said, oh, I really wanna, be a successful life coach or health coach or business coach or finance coach or whatever type of coach, but they never actually get started and they waste a lot of time focusing on things that ultimately don't matter, I would be an extraordinarily rich woman. And so today's video is really gonna be about the #1 thing that you need if you are looking to get started in your coaching business this year. And I say this because, again, everybody's out here trying to get business cards, setting up a website, how do I register my LLC? I'm not saying any of those things aren't important, but it's kind of like majoring in minors. Those aren't the most important thing. And I would say even before you dive into building a brand or getting on social media or doing the other things that we think we know we need to do when it comes to building our online brands and creating a coaching business, there is something else that is even more important and very important for you to have that I don't see a lot of coaches knowing about, let alone business coaches talking about. So consider this video my public service announcement. This is the #1 thing you must have in place. You need this if you want to be a successful coach this year when you grow or launch your business. So if you want to know what that is, we're about to get into it right now. All right, so I know that there's a lot of chatter online around whether now is even a good time to start a coaching business, especially a life coaching business, because a lot of people are convinced that there's too many people out there calling themselves coaches and that it's too crowded and, how am I ever gonna be seen? And so I see people kind of like running around like chickens with their heads cut off, like, ooh, how do I make my social media better? Do I dance on TikTok? How do I get my reel seen? How do I get YouTube algorithm to pick up my videos in an effort to be seen? And I'm not saying that those things aren't helpful, right? Like, sure, there's strategies that you can do on Instagram to grow your following. There's strategies that you can do on YouTube. But the #1 thing that I see aspiring and even established coaches missing that would really set them apart is a unique methodology. Yes, this is the #1 thing that you must have and that you need if you are looking to be successful in your coaching business this year. In fact, this is so important. I actually have a process that I teach for helping you come up with your unique methodology that we call developing your iconic insight. And we go over this in depth inside of my coaching certification program. So I've talked about this a lot on this channel. It's been like, oh, is it starting? Yes, it is now open, my coaching certification. And I wanted to do this because I was actually really sad that so many people would come to me saying like, oh my goodness, I wish I would have learned about you before I joined this other certification program that was extraordinarily expensive. And not only did it not teach me how to build a business, it didn't even teach me how to come up with my own methodology so that I could stand out. And if there's anything that has helped me stand out over the years, whether I didn't have a coaching certification because I actually started my life coaching and then business coaching business before I had my certification and before I had my MBA and all of these things. And the reason why I was able to attract clients was because I've always had my own unique methodology. In fact, if you're curious about what my unique methodology and what my iconic insight is, you can check it out in this podcast here where I talk about how I coach myself to success, what my coaching methodology is. And that video and that podcast is actually taken from a module inside of my paid coaching certification program. So if you're curious to even kind of see an inside glimpse of some of the things that we'll be covering inside of my coaching certification program, definitely check out that video to see what it is. But I think this is like the most underrated thing ever. And I know, and I say this because I know some people are like watching this video and they're like tempted to skip because they're like, well, I'm gonna watch a video about Instagram and like how to do my reels, and I just wanna like grab you through the camera and shake you. I wanna shake you, do you hear me? Because it doesn't matter how amazing your reels are and how catchy they are, how many people follow your Instagram. Understand, that if you do not have some iconic insight, right, some unique methodology that you are known for and that people resonate with, and they're like, wow, I can only get this from you, it is gonna be very difficult to attract clients, especially as we move forward, because coaching is becoming more popular. And for good reason, right? Coaching is becoming more popular because, one, companies and corporations are understanding that there's a difference between educating somebody on how to do something and equipping somebody. And oftentimes being equipped has everything to do with having the right mindset and the skill set, not just having the right education around how to be a leader or how to do a thing. So a lot of companies and organizations are seeking out coaches to support their leaders. But on top of that, the pandemic made it so that people understood the value of receiving education and online and starting businesses online. And so there's just more demand for coaches ever than before. But there's more people getting into this industry. And so if you think that you're gonna stand out just by creating a pretty website, just by having a nice photo shoot, and just by learning some hack to get your reels, to go viral on Instagram, you're in for a rude awakening. And if you don't believe me, just look at different thought leaders in the field, such as Simon Sinek, Mel Robbins, and even Brene Brown, right? These are people that I think are perfect examples of the power of having, again, what I call iconic insight. And again, iconic insight is my own proprietary process for helping you come up with your own methodology in your coaching business. But I think Simon Sinek is a perfect example of this, right? People have been talking about leadership for like decades, okay? There's been so many leadership gurus and leadership coaches. And even when Simon Sinek burst on the scene, the reigning champion of the leadership space was John Maxwell, who was a multi-New York Times bestselling author and renowned thought leader in the space of leadership. So how did this guy that nobody had ever heard of, who has square, interesting glasses, right? How did he break on the scene and take the world by storm? He did it by having his own unique methodology, right? His book, Start With Why, was a New York Times bestseller because it was his unique viewpoint on how to approach leadership. Mel Robbins is the same way with her 5-second rule. Brene Brown and all of her amazing iconic insights when it comes to this idea of shame and vulnerability. And so many people think that the answer is just by having a fancier logo or, I don't know, having a more cleverly named Facebook group. Like, they're majoring in minors. They're looking at all these little, tactics. Oh, how do I grow my business? Not realizing that you need to have some substance that sets you apart and that is different from everyone else in the industry. So if you are really serious about either starting or growing your coaching, especially a life coaching business this year, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and make sure that you nail down that iconic insight and you come up with your own unique methodology. And again, if you need help with this is something that I specialize in, right? This is something that I've done for myself, something that I have done for others, something that I've done for several of my clients who are completely in the wrong niche, selling the wrong thing, got to the root of their story and their expertise, helped them pull out their own iconic insight, and they were able to package an entire coaching program around it that they were able to sell in as little as 3 weeks. I had one client who was a stay-at-home mom of 5 who was able to come up with her own iconic insight, again, in a completely different arena than what she was originally coaching on, after we had a conversation and I was able to dig into her story. And without a website, just on social media alone, she was able to have a 5-figure month, landing 3 clients at $3,500 a pop. So I'm not telling you something that I heard, I'm telling you what I know and what I've done, not just for myself and what I've done for others. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can click the link in the description box, which will tell you the entire process for my coaching certification. Again, we'll teach you how to coach, we'll certify you with an accredited coaching certification, and then we'll help you package up that iconic insight into a coaching program that you can actually sell. And if you so choose, we even have an option where we will show you how to build an entire brand and how to build your entire business. But we do the iconic insight piece first because that is the most important. So again, I'm saying this because I believe in it, whether you work with me or someone else, or you try to do this on your own. Do not waste another moment fiddling with Facebook ads, Facebook groups, Instagram, or anything until you have come up with your own iconic insight and you have your own unique methodology, because that is the key to standing out and setting yourself apart in this coaching industry this year and beyond. So I hope this video was helpful. If it did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you can't wait for my next YouTube video, definitely make sure that you are subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next podcast episode or my next YouTube video, make sure you are following me on Instagram. It's CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.